Have you ever stood before a locked door in life, and no matter how much you knocked, it would not open? Have you felt the weight of delay, the frustration of waiting, the sting of rejection? There are moments when it seems as though every door is shut tight and your prayers echo back with silence. But hear me clearly today: when God commands, no door can remain closed. When God speaks, the iron gates swing open. When God decides, no power in heaven, earth, or beneath the earth can stop your breakthrough. And today, I am here to reveal to you a key so simple yet so powerful that if you use it with faith, you will see locked doors burst open before you. The key is not in human hands. The key is not in manipulation, compromise, or struggle. The key is in the power of your faith-filled declaration. God has placed authority in your tongue. God has placed strength in your voice. God has given you a command to call those things that are not as though they already are, and to speak with faith until mountains crumble before you. There is a declaration that shakes the heavens, one that breaks barriers, one that confuses the enemy, one that causes angels to move on your behalf. When you speak it with faith, when you release it with fire in your spirit, you are no longer knocking timidly on doors. You are commanding them to open by the authority of God Almighty. And I say to you now, when you declare with faith, God is my way, God is my strength, God is my deliverer, 3 times with unshakable conviction, something happens in the unseen realm. The doors you thought were locked forever begin to swing wide. The opportunities you thought were gone forever come rushing back. The healing you thought could never reach your body begins to flow like living water. The peace you thought had left your mind returns with power. You see, when you declare it, not once, not twice, but 3 times, you align yourself completely with the authority of God. 3 times. The number of divine confirmation, the seal of heaven's assurance. It is no longer a hope, no longer a wish. It is a decree in alignment with God's will. Say it once and the ground shakes. Say it twice and the heavens move. Say it 3 times and the doors burst wide open. You are not speaking empty words. You are echoing the power of God's promise. You are stamping His authority into your reality. You are reminding the universe that you are not alone, that the God who created every door also holds every key. Do not underestimate the power of repetition in faith. Many people whisper prayers once and give up. Many cry out for a moment and then retreat into doubt. But when you stand boldly and declare again and again, God is my way, God is my strength, God is my deliverer, you are pressing against the gates until they cannot resist. You are declaring to your heart that fear has no room. You are declaring to your enemies that defeat has no hold. You are declaring to your future that it must align with God's divine plan. Beloved, your voice carries weight when it is filled with faith. The world was created by the voice of God, and He has given you the power to speak into your own reality. Do not waste your words on complaint, on worry, on fear. Use your words as weapons of faith. Use your declarations as keys of authority. Use your voice to unlock the destiny God has already prepared for you. There are doors of healing waiting to open for you. There are doors of provision waiting to open for you. There are doors of peace waiting to open for you. There are doors of breakthrough waiting to open for you. But God is waiting for your faith-filled declaration. God is waiting for you to rise above silence, above fear, above doubt, and to declare His power boldly. When the walls of Jericho stood before the people of God, They did not fall with human strength. They fell because the people lifted their voices, not once, not twice, but with continuous declaration until the walls crumbled. The same principle applies to your life. The walls standing before you may look strong, but when you declare God's power 3 times with fire in your heart and conviction in your spirit, you are telling those walls, you cannot stand against the authority of God. Do not be deceived into thinking your situation is permanent. The enemy wants you to believe that the doors will never open. But I declare to you today, those doors are trembling at your faith. They are shaking at your words. They are cracking at the sound of your declaration. When you rise and declare 3 times, God is my way, God is my strength, God is my deliverer, you are not just speaking, you are commanding in alignment with the King of the universe. Let me ask you, how long will you sit before locked doors without speaking? How long will you cry in silence while the key is in your tongue? How long will you accept delay when God has given you authority? Your words are not ordinary. Your words, when filled with faith in God, carry power. They can open what no man can close. They can release what no hand can bind. They can shift what no force can move. Now I want you to picture your greatest locked door. Maybe it is a financial burden. Maybe it is a broken relationship. Maybe it is sickness in your body. Maybe it is anxiety in your mind. See that door clearly. See it locked before you. And now rise in your spirit and declare with me, God is my way. God is my strength. God is my deliverer. Say it once. The chains begin to rattle. Say it twice. The hinges begin to shake. Say it 3 times. And watch the door swing wide open before you. Then listen closely, because what I will speak now is not to stir your emotions alone, but to awaken your spirit. The door before you is not greater than the one who created you. That door of resistance, that barrier, that delay, it is not stronger than God. It only looks intimidating because you are seeing it through human eyes. But when you look with the eyes of faith, when you see through the lens of God's greatness, the door is nothing but a fragile lock waiting to be shattered. Every locked door in your life represents a test. It is a test of whether you will trust in your own strength or lean fully on the power of God. The doors are not shut to harm you. They are shut to prove what is inside of you. God allows the doors to be locked so that you may discover the authority He has placed within your spirit. God allows the walls to rise high so that you may discover that your declaration, rooted in faith, can bring them down. It is not about the size of the door. It is about the size of your God. And when you call on Him with boldness, when you declare His power with your whole heart, then nothing in the seen or unseen can stop you. Let me speak plainly. Faith is not silent. Faith is not passive. Faith is not hidden. Faith speaks. Faith declares. Faith roars into the darkness until the light bursts through. The moment you open your mouth and release the authority of God, you shift atmospheres. You may not see it instantly, but the unseen world trembles at your words. Do not be fooled by silence. Just because you do not see immediate movement does not mean the door is not unlocking. God works beyond your sight. When you declare His name 3 times with conviction, you are placing a divine demand on your destiny. You are aligning with the will of the Almighty, and you are forcing the unseen locks to break. There is a reason why the tongue is described as a small part of the body, yet able to set forests ablaze. With it, you can destroy your future, or with it, you can build a new reality. God has designed it this way because He wanted His creation not only to live, but to rule. And the way you rule is by speaking with faith. If your tongue can destroy, how much more can it create when it is surrendered to God? The world was formed by the command of God's voice, and you, created in His image, carry a fragment of that creative authority in your own voice. This is why the enemy wants to silence you. This is why fear whispers, stay quiet. This is why doubt tells you, don't say it, nothing will change. Because the enemy knows the moment you rise and speak in faith, things must shift. Darkness fears your declaration. Bondage fears your command. Closed doors fear your persistence. And when you declare 3 times, you are breaking through the first layer of resistance, the second layer of hesitation, and the third layer of opposition. You are pressing until nothing can resist the authority of God. Consider the prophets of old. They did not remain silent in the face of opposition. They declared the word of God with boldness. They spoke not once, but again and again, until what they proclaimed became reality. They understood that persistence in declaration brings manifestation. Do not speak once and walk away. Do not whisper once and give up. Continue. Press. Declare again. Because when you speak 3 times, you seal your faith with divine confirmation. Some of you listening now have been circling the same door for years. You have prayed silently, hoped secretly, wished quietly, yet nothing has moved. Today I tell you, silence must break. The door will not open until your mouth opens. Your destiny will not shift until your tongue is loosed. You are waiting for God to move, but God is waiting for you to declare. He has already given you the key. He has already given you the authority. He is waiting for you to rise and use it. Lift up your voice now, not with hesitation, but with authority. Declare, is my way, God is my strength, God is my deliverer. When you say this, you are not repeating empty words. You are unlocking dimensions of faith within you. The first declaration breaks fear. The second declaration builds faith. The third declaration seals victory. And as you stand there, watch as doors begin to shift. Some will open immediately. Some will begin to crack and swing slowly. Some will not only open, but will reveal rooms greater than you ever imagined. Because when God opens a door, He does not just give you access, He gives you abundance. Hear me well, not every door you face is meant for you, but every door meant for you cannot remain closed. Some doors are traps. Some doors are distractions. Some doors are dead ends. But the doors ordained by God for your life, those doors must open when you declare His authority. Do not waste your energy pounding on doors that God Himself has shut. Instead, stand before the doors He has destined for you and use your declaration as the key. And how will you know the difference? You will know because the door that belongs to you will respond to the voice of God in you. It will not resist. It will open because it recognizes the authority of the one who sent you. The power is not in your volume. It is not in how loud you shout. The power is in your faith. You can whisper it and the heavens will still tremble. If your heart is filled with conviction, you can cry it through tears and the earth will still move if your spirit is anchored in trust. Say it with trembling lips, say it with a breaking voice, say it with weary strength. But say it with faith and the doors will respond. I tell you this with love, stop underestimating yourself. Stop living as though you are powerless. God did not create you to be defeated. God did not place you here to beg at the doors of others. God created you with authority. God formed you to walk in dominion. And when you align your voice with His power, you will not merely knock on doors, you will command them to open. The world is filled with those who sit before locked doors and complain. But few rise and declare. Few take the authority of God seriously. Few understand that the key is already in their hands. Do not be among the crowd that waits in silence. Be among the chosen who rise, declare, walk through. Because once you understand this truth, once you practice it, you will never again fear closed doors. You will see them not as obstacles, but as opportunities for God's power to be revealed. And when those doors open, remember this: it was not by your might, not by your wisdom, not by your effort, it was by the hand of God. This is why your declaration is not about you. It is not about your power. It is about surrendering your tongue, your faith, your spirit to the authority of the Almighty. When you say, God is my way, you are renouncing every false path. When you say, God is my strength, you are renouncing self-dependence. When you say, God is my deliverer, you are renouncing every false hope and standing firmly on His power. And as you do, as you speak it 3 times, watch how everything around you begins to align. Watch how obstacles begin to weaken. Watch how enemies begin to scatter. Watch how fear begins to lose its grip. Watch how peace begins to fill your heart. For when God is your way, you cannot be lost. When God is your strength, you cannot be broken. When God is your deliverer, you cannot remain in chains. Beloved, there is something I must remind you with urgency. Destiny is not delayed because of God. Destiny is delayed because of hesitation. Too many people sit waiting for something to change on its own, when God has already put the seed of authority in their own hearts. The doors of your future are waiting for you to act, waiting for you to declare, waiting for you to step forward with faith. God has already written your story, but the ink of His promise is activated by the voice of your faith. The question is not whether God is able. The question is whether you will rise and declare what He has already ordained. Think of this truth. Every locked door in your life is also a locked door in the spiritual realm. It is not just a wooden barrier, a steel gate, or a human obstacle. It is a manifestation of unseen resistance. Behind every locked door is an assignment. Behind every locked door is a portion of your calling. Behind every locked door is the blessing waiting to be born. But do you know what breaks the resistance? It is not tears alone. It is not effort alone. It is not waiting in silence. It is the bold declaration of God's power over that door. The unseen forces cannot resist the sound of faith. They cannot resist the authority that comes when you declare God as your way, your strength, and your deliverer. Some of you have been walking in circles, and the enemy has whispered that you are forgotten. But hear me, you are not forgotten. God has not abandoned you. The door is not closed forever. It is waiting for the moment you rise with unshakable conviction and claim what is already yours. God is waiting to see whether you will settle in defeat or stand in faith. Every test of delay is not meant to destroy you, but to refine you. And when you pass the test, when you declare 3 times with unwavering trust, the door will open in such a way that no one will ever again question whether you walk in the authority of God. Let me speak directly to your heart. Do not fear the sound of silence. Just because you do not hear the door moving does not mean God is not working. Some doors do not open with a creak. They open suddenly with a crash. Some breakthroughs do not announce themselves. They arrive like a flood. That is why you must not stop declaring. That is why you must not stop believing. Because in the very moment when you feel the weakest, in the very hour when it seems impossible, that is when God shows His greatest strength. He waits until every human hand has failed, so that His hand alone will be glorified. And when He opens a door, it is not just for you. Listen carefully. When God opens a door for you, generations are blessed through it. When you declare in faith and walk into your breakthrough, you are not just unlocking your own future, you are unlocking the futures of those connected to you. Your family, your children, your community, they all benefit when you refuse to bow to locked doors. You may think you are only fighting for yourself, but in truth, you are fighting for a legacy. When you declare 3 times that God is your way, strength, and deliverer, you are creating a pathway, not only for your own destiny, but for those who will come after you. Do not underestimate the ripple effect of your faith. One person who believes can shift an entire household. One person who declares can unlock blessings for an entire community. One person who refuses to bow to fear can ignite courage in countless others. When you stand and speak, you are not just declaring to your own heart, you are declaring to the world that God reigns, that His power cannot be challenged, that His authority is final. But I must also warn you, there will always be resistance before the breakthrough. The enemy does not hand over ground easily. He will try to shake you. He will try to convince you that nothing is happening. He will try to tire you so that you stop declaring before the 3rd time. But you must endure. You must press. You must not stop short of the full declaration, because the final push, the 3rd command, is what seals the victory. If you stop after the 1st or 2nd, you remain in the middle of the process. But when you finish the 3rd, when you complete the act of faith, the door must obey. There is a mystery in repetition that many ignore. Every time you declare, you are chiseling at the foundation of resistance. The first word shakes the ground. The second strikes the wall. The third breaks it down completely. That is why God requires persistence. That is why He honors endurance. Because He wants you to know that the door did not fall by chance. It fell because you pressed with faith until it could not stand. Now imagine with me, you are standing before the greatest door of your life. Behind it lies your calling, your peace, your provision, your destiny. The enemy has placed guards before it, has locked it with chains, has fortified it with walls of doubt. But you, filled with the spirit of faith, stand tall. You raise your voice and you declare once, God is my way, God is my strength, God is my deliverer. The chains rattle. You declare again, and the hinges shake. You declare the third time, and suddenly the door bursts open, not by your power, but by the hand of the Almighty. And as you walk through, you realize that the only thing keeping you from this moment all along was the silence of your own lips. Hear me? God has given you more authority than you realize. The world has tried to diminish you. People have tried to belittle you. Circumstances have tried to break you. But none of these have the final say. God alone holds the final word. And when you align your voice with His, you are unstoppable. No door can withstand the sound of faith. No chain can resist the authority of God. No prison can hold a spirit that has declared freedom in His name. So I challenge you today, stop living as though you are powerless. Stop shrinking back before locked doors. Stop waiting for someone else to hand you a key. You already carry the key. The authority of your voice, the faith in your heart, the power of your declaration. That is the key God has given you. Use it. Declare it. Speak it 3 times and watch as the impossible becomes possible. And when the doors open, do not forget who opened them. Do not think it was by chance, by luck, or by the favor of men. It was God and God alone. It was His power, His hand, His authority working through your faith. And when you recognize this, your heart will overflow with gratitude. Your spirit will overflow with praise, and your life will overflow with testimony. There is a battlefield that many never recognize, yet it determines everything in your life. The battlefield of the unseen. You may look around and see people, circumstances, or even yourself as the obstacle, but in truth, the greatest resistance comes from forces you cannot see. They place locks on doors meant for you. They whisper lies into your mind. They surround you with fear, so you will not dare to declare. But when you speak with faith, when you declare God's authority over your life, you are not just speaking to circumstances. You are commanding the unseen. You are telling every force of darkness that their time of control has ended. You are telling every chain that its time has come to break. Spiritual warfare is not fought with weapons of this world. It is fought with the word of faith, the fire of prayer, and the declaration of God's power. When you say 3 times with conviction, God is my way, God is my strength, God is my deliverer, you are striking blows in the unseen realm. Each word is like a hammer against the walls of resistance. Each declaration sends ripples of power into dimensions beyond your sight. And though you may not see the battle, you will see the victory. For no enemy can withstand the voice of a believer who knows the authority of God. Do not be surprised when opposition rises just before the breakthrough. The closer you are to the door, the louder the resistance becomes. The nights may grow darker. The attacks may intensify. The doubt may whisper stronger than ever. But this is the sign that the door is near. The storm is strongest before the calm. The pressure is greatest before the release. This is why you must not give up in the final stretch. Declare with persistence, with fire, with unwavering trust. Because the moment you quit is often the moment before the breakthrough. But the moment you press through with the 3rd declaration, the moment you finish the act of faith, the door bursts open and the battle is won. When the door opens, however, do not walk through it casually. Walk through it with reverence, with gratitude, with purpose. Too many people cry out for open doors, yet when God grants them, they step in carelessly and waste what has been given. An open door is not just an opportunity, it is a responsibility. When God grants you access, He is also trusting you to carry His light into the new place. He is trusting you to represent His greatness where others could not go. He is trusting you to build, to bless, to lift others as you walk in your victory. And hear this, every door you walk through is not the final one. Behind one open door is another. Behind one breakthrough is a greater breakthrough. Behind one testimony is a greater testimony. That is why you must keep declaring. Do not think one victory means the battle is over. No, life is a journey of doors. Some small, some great. Some easy to open, some requiring persistence. But the principle remains the same. When you declare God's power with unwavering faith, no door can resist. Let me take you deeper. The doors you open in the physical are connected to the doors of your heart. If your heart remains closed, even when opportunities come, you will not recognize them. If your spirit is locked in bitterness, fear, or pride, even when the right door swings wide, you may pass it by without entering. That is why the first door you must open is the door of your heart to God fully. Surrender your fear. Lay down your pride. Release the grudges. When your inner door is open, your outer doors will follow. When your heart is aligned with God, every other door will recognize the authority of His presence within you. There is no greater tragedy than a person standing before an open door and being too afraid to walk through. Some of you have prayed for years, declared in faith, and watched God move. Yet when the door stands wide open, fear whispers, what if you fail? What if you are not enough? And many retreat back into the comfort of the familiar. But hear me, if God opened the door, He has already equipped you for what is inside. If God made the way, He has already placed within you the strength to walk it. Do not shrink back when the blessing comes. Do not let fear rob you of what you fought to receive. When God opens the door, step boldly through it, knowing that His strength will sustain you in every step. The open door is not just a blessing, it is also a battlefield. The moment you enter, new challenges arise, new responsibilities call. New levels of faith are required. But you must not shrink, because the same God who opened the door is the same God who will sustain you inside it. The God who parted the sea is the God who guided His people through it. The God who broke the chains is the God who will lead you into freedom. If He has brought you this far, He will not leave you abandoned on the other side. Some of you are afraid of what is behind the door because you imagine giants waiting to devour you. But let me tell you, the giants you fear are already trembling at your arrival. They know that you come not in your own power, but in the authority of God. They know that the door opened not because of you, but because of Him. And when you enter with that confidence, the giants lose their power, fear melts, opposition scatters, because nothing can stand against the one who walks in God's authority. So rise today with courage. Do not only pray for doors to open, prepare yourself to walk through them. Do not only cry for opportunities, ready your spirit to seize them. Do not only declare 3 times, believe deeply that what you speak is already done. Because faith without action is empty. But faith with action, faith with bold steps, faith with surrendered obedience, that faith brings transformation. And I tell you now, as you live in this rhythm, declaring with faith and walking with courage, your life will become a testimony. Others will look at you and see doors opening, battles being won, blessings flowing, and they will ask, how did this happen? And your answer will not point to yourself. Your answer will be, God did it. God was my way. God was my strength. God was my deliverer. And through your testimony, many will find the courage to rise and declare for themselves. And now, as we draw to a close, hear this truth deep in your spirit. No door is too heavy. No chain is too strong. No wall is too high when God is on your side. The power is not in your ability, nor in your wisdom, nor in the strength of men. It is in God alone. And when you align yourself with Him, when you rise in faith and declare with boldness, God is my way, God is my strength, God is my deliverer, 3 times with unshakable conviction, every locked place in your life begins to shift. Do not leave this moment as you came. Do not walk away still bound by silence. Today is the day to use the authority God has given you. Today is the day to stand before every locked door in your life and declare, until the hinges shake, until the gates tremble, until the way is made clear. Remember, you are not powerless. You are not forgotten. You are not abandoned. You are chosen, equipped, and sustained by the Almighty. So step forward with courage, speak with faith, walk with confidence. And when the doors open, and they will open, enter with gratitude, live with purpose, and shine as a living testimony of God's greatness. For when God is your way, no path can be lost. When God is your strength, no burden can crush you. When God is your deliverer, no prison can hold you. The doors are opening. Rise, declare, and walk into the destiny God has already prepared for you.